Is that now? Are you in Greece now? Is that's? I'm assuming that's still where you live.
I still live here, yeah.
Is it
So I'm in Greece.
is housing are the prices expensive there? Because the housing prices here are out of control.
Yeah, same here. It's insane. Like
So it's like lucky
uh,
that you got in when you did, and now you're just gonna. Is this like the house that you're gonna die in? Basically, like you're gonna stay in that forever.
for me, no, I'm a little bit weird when it comes to houses. I like to move around a lot. I own properties, so it's I have rentals. So but I live in it allows me to kind of like move around and switch houses every
But
couple of years.
okay, well, within the same area in Greece.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So, well, I've been kind of weird about it. It's kind of weird topic. Things always happen where I'm at, and I just have to move around a lot, and in the same city, So
Yeah. How far are you
uh,
from like I've never been to Greece, but it looks beautiful. Like my friend went to like is it Santorini? Or is that how you say it?
Santorini, yeah.
Yeah, they look how far are you from there?
I'm far. Yeah, that's an island. I live in the mainland,
Okay.
so I'm in like in the mainland, and then there's like the islands. So yeah, I'm like up north of the mainland in the second city, basically. Like if Athens is the capital and I'm in the second city, it's called Thessaloniki. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It used to be quiet here, and now it's just too much traffic, too many people. It's it's gotten too much.
So what is the music scene? Has it changed at all or evolved? Or is I mean, I'm assuming there's not a lot of rock bands there, or is there?
um there are some rock bands, some metal bands. There is a scene, actually.
Really?
Yeah, there is. It's just, it's a Greece is not famous for its metal scene, obviously. We're not like Scandinavian countries, but a lot of bands tour here. Like when they come to Europe, they come to Greece, and we do have festivals in the summer. We a lot of club gigs throughout the whole year. A lot of bands come here, and there's a local scene as well with metal bands. With we have like a big kind of like alternative scene, stoner type of
Oh,
scene. That seems to have been a thing. Like the traditional metal thing, not so much. Like we are kind of in our own little corner there. Firewind, I mean,
right.
and there's
Yeah.
just like a few bands, but it's really much smaller. But people love metal here. But the overall culture, like when we talk mainstream and stuff, it's mainly like Greek music, stuff that has Greek lyrics, the language, because
Oh,
that's what can they can relate to. Like even the hip hop and rap and trap scene and stuff, it's mainly like the Greek artists.
okay. Yeah, because you got into the music from your father, but it was interesting because I was listening to the new Firewind stuff and I was driving around in my car and I was like, oh, it just kind of took me back to like listening to metal when I was a teenager, driving around with my Jeep. Do you have those kinds of memories as a kid or as a teenager? Just like where did you drive around listen to music, or was it often in your bedroom, or where did you usually listen to music?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, in my room, I spent a lot of hours in my bedroom just practicing guitar and listening to cassettes. I would record my favorite albums on cassette, and then I would just practice to it and just listen to a lot of stuff and read magazines and of course, every time I would get in my dad's car and stuff, I would just put on my own stuff. So yeah,
How many hours when you say like hours, like, because I hear stories of kids like they basically dropped out of school and just played like Dean Castronova. I just had him on. He was in Journey. I think he played with Ozzy. I don't think when you were there, but I mean, he used to
no,
talk about how he
no.
dropped out of school and just played the drums all day. He's like, I know I'm going to do this. Was it a similar thing for you, or were you able to like get through school
Yeah.
at least?
No, I mean, I think the story is pretty much the same or similar with every musician you'll talk to. Like anybody who has really put in the work, they just lock themselves in their bedroom and just practice. And that it was a similar thing for me. Like for me, going to school was just like the thing I just had to do. I had to show up. I hated school, and I just couldn't wait until I got off school, and then go home, eat, and then just play guitar until I fell asleep basically at night, and then get up the next day and do the same thing. And I did that for years. So, and like in the weekends, I was really always I was looking forward to the weekends because there was no school. So I would just do these practice marathons. I would get up in the morning and then play like from Saturday morning until Sunday night.
Wow.
So
So
crazy.
do you still practice that much, or have you toned it down now?
No. I wish I don't have that much time to practice anymore because I also manage the band
Oh.
and I deal with a lot of the day-to-day business, and it is a business. Um, and I don't get to play as much as I would like to. That's the truth. I mean, I still practice enough to keep my chops up and things like that. And every now and then, I try to find something cool to learn on the internet and things like that. But like not in the sense where I'll get up in the morning and just run my scales and then do like my warm ups and stuff. Like I don't have much time for that anymore.
So then how do you write the music, like with this new album? How did you guys get together and write it, or was it mostly you writing it by yourself, or how does it work?
I write most of the music myself. Like I have this studio here that I'm sitting, and this is where I write, I record, and yeah, lucky to have this place because whenever I have some downtime, it's a quiet place, and I just sit here and play guitar. And I put down ideas on my computer throughout the whole year, basically. Like whenever I have some downtime, and I'll play guitar, and then if I stumble across something, I'll just record it.
So is it more like
So
you write it down when it comes to you like randomly, or is it like, okay, I'm going to sit down from 2 to 4 today and write music?
no, it's totally random. Like I cannot like sit down and say, "Oh, I'm gonna make a song today." I don't work. I can't work like that. I can't function like that. I've tried to do it, and it didn't work out. Yeah.
Yeah, that is very rare. I feel like only a handful of people I've found that can do that. Like if they're trying to make a song for a commercial or something, then they have like a deadline and they make themselves do it. But it seems like it's
Yeah,
forced.
yeah. Like the people that are like professional songwriters, and they go into sessions, because I've been into a couple of those sessions where like I remember like when I was doing my first solo record 10 years ago, like my record label at the time, they put me into a couple of sessions with producers and writers, and like these people show up, and they just talk a little bit, and we get a direction, and then okay, let's get to work, and then they put down a drum beat, and then they just start building it up, and I'm like, I don't know how you do that. Like I need to have the ideas first, like when I
Right.
play them, and then know where I'm going. Like I can't just start with a blank canvas like that. I mean,
Yeah.
I could, and it could, I could make a song like out of necessity like that, but like you said, it would be something forced. That doesn't mean that it's going to be something bad in the end. Like, sometimes great songs come out of these things. But yeah, like all the professional songwriters, and all those guys they go into writing sessions. That's how they make up stuff.
Who are some of the professional songwriters that you worked with? I'm trying to remember if I know that.
I mean, I worked with Kevin Churko
Oh,
on a
right.
track. Yeah, and it was incredible just to see how he was doing things. And I worked with him on the Ozzy record, but that was mainly for recording guitars. But we wrote a song together for my solo record later on, and
Yeah, because you
and
didn't get
yeah,
to write any of the songs with the Aussie record. Was that because the songs were already written, or did you write some songs and they just didn't make the record?
no. When I joined, everything was written. It was done. They were missing guitars. That they had like the riffs that Kevin put down and stuff, but
Okay.
they were looking for a guy who could you know kind of take that and make it sound like it like a guitar player would do it. Like just make it more natural
Yeah.
and not so kind of like chopped up and like edited. So that was my job on the record, and of course the when I came in, none of the songs had solo sections, so we added solo sections, and the only thing I wrote was like this acoustic intro in a song called "Digging Me Down." Like Kevin needed like this. He wanted to do this kind of Dire of a Madman type of thing where it was a long acoustic thing. and he asked me to come up with something, and I came up with like a 1 minute intro thing.
That's cool. Did you have any riffs that you had collected at that point that you wanted to show Ozzy? Like if you guys did get the chance to make a follow-up to that, would you have had like riffs that you were ready to show him? Because you were kind of ballsy how you got that job. So I'm surprised you didn't say, hey, check this stuff out. Like, or did you?
They did ask me like to submit some ideas after the Scream album was done, and I did show him a few ideas, and we even we didn't make demos like vocal demos, but we did record demos with the band on sound checks during the tour, and there were a couple of tracks that we were working on. But that whole thing, that follow up, kind of fell through because I don't know if you remember, but right in the middle of that, um, the basically Ozzy decided to go back to Sabbath, or they had this
Right.
big lawsuit or something, the settlement, and part of the deal was that they had to do an album and a tour, and so basically the solo thing got shelved for a while.
Yeah. That makes sense. But it's cool. Like, so for my audience, if they don't know the story, like how you got the job, I was hearing you talk about it. It's so cool. Like you were in this band Arch Enemy and you toured with Ozfest. You heard he was going to need a guitarist. So you just went down to the production office. Is that what it's called? And you dropped off your CD. And then like 4 years later, they called you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is not exactly the story. I mean, this is one story, that because I was with Arch Enemy on Ozfest, and but that was in 2005,
Right.
and I really don't know, or I'm not sure if that had anything to do with them calling me like 4 years later.
Hmm.
Um,
So that might have just been
because
a coincidence.
I know that at some point he was looking for guitar players, and somebody from the office put like a short list or a list of guitar players to show him, and so he can check out. And I was on that list without my knowledge, of course. I didn't know they were looking for somebody, and I don't know if my name was on that list because they had checked me out, or somebody might have checked me out like 4 years prior to that. But at that time, I was kind of like an up and coming name on the scene in Europe, especially. And yeah, so maybe I was like one of the young guys that, yeah,
That's pretty ballsy
people.
though to walk down there with your CD. Did you do
Oh
that other
man,
times too? Did you walk
no, like
production
I
office?
was not really. I'm a very shy guy. I have to tell you, like I'm not really the guy that goes and like I was thinking about that for like days and days, and everybody would just like, dude, you should do it, you're here, like give them your CD, and like the guys from Arch Enemy would tell me like, you should do it, man, like, and I was like, no, 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 they're gonna think I'm some kind of idiot, like, and that really I've not done things like that many times in my life. I think that probably must have been the only time, but I was like, well, I'm here, I have nothing to lose, I'm gonna spend the summer playing with Arch Enemy. They put up an ad that they're looking for a guitar player. I'm here now. I'll just knock on the door. Who knows?
Yeah. I think that might have had something to do with it. I feel like if they were smart and they were a good production, like the people in charge, like they would listen to everything that, especially someone that comes in person, not just sends it in the mail or something.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, at that point, I didn't meet anybody. It was just somebody at the office said, "Okay, yeah, thank you. Leave it here, and we'll let you know if something happens." And like, I never that those things didn't go anywhere like that. There was never any discussion or anything. That's why
Right.
I'm saying I'm not sure if that had anything to do with 4 years later. Maybe it did. Maybe it did. Maybe they had me in the back of their minds for
Or you
a
just
while.
like, what
Yeah.
do they call it? Like, if you believe in that, like you manifested it from the universe. Like, I don't know. There's things like
Maybe
that.
that was it. Maybe that was
Yeah.
it. Maybe I manifested it. Yeah.
Do you have, did you have other offers, since then that other bands, because I mean, that's such a big resume thing on your resume to be an Aussie. Like, did Judas Priest ever reach out to you, or Iron Maiden, or any of these other metal bands trying to offer you a audition or a spot?
um, I mean, I did. I had offers to. Actually, I've never told that anybody. In the press, at least, I've had offers to audition for other bands and stuff, not to join, but to audition. But I didn't do it. Like I think shortly after, during my time with Ozzy, actually, Megadeth reached out, and I was still with Ozzy, and I was playing, and they were looking for somebody, and And I said, well, I can't really leave Ozzy for that floor, even though I'm a huge Megadeth fan. At that
That
time,
would be cool. Yeah, because
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
their guitarist just left, or he had some issue or something? I think
yeah.
they.
I mean, right back then it was like they were scouting guitar players, and then like two weeks later, like Kiko was in the band,
Okay.
and Kiko's a buddy of mine. We've known each other for like his old band Angra and Firewind have toured together. So I knew him, and I thought he was a great fit. Um, and in 2019, who else? Machine Head asked me to audition once. But yeah, like I'm not sure if I'm like a really good, really made for being like a hired gun kind of guy. I'm enjoying calling my own shots, I guess.
All right, that's totally different. Yeah, I get it. That makes sense because now,
It's two different worlds doing those things. Like
yeah,
it's different. Not, I mean, doing your own thing, of course, involves a lot of risks. Um, Financial, of course, because you don't know if things will work out. You have to put tours together, and you have to, um, yeah, front your own capital to do things to get things going, and you don't know if it's going to work out, if people are going to like it. So and it's very competitive, of course, out there now, especially nowadays. Um, and then, of course, being a hired gun for a band, you don't have to worry about any of that. Um, but of course, you're also disposable.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, so you like doing the fire when you like being in charge. You like that risk. Talk about the musicians that you have in this band. Herbie, I don't want to. Is it Langhans, the singer?
Yeah, Herbie Langens. Yep.
Yeah, he is amazing, and then I think the rhythm section too is really good. I don't want to butcher their names. Petros and Johan. Is that
Johan Nunes. Yeah.
yeah, dude, the
Yeah, they're
drums are like
great.
insane on this. Like, I love it. I
Yeah.
think that
Yeah.
the whole band sounds good to. And you're doing all the guitars, I'm assuming, are you doing rhythm and leads?
Yeah. 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 And we used to have a keyboard player, and he left like at the end of 19. So now I'm doing the keyboards, not live, but at least on the records. I program the
So
keyboards too.
okay. So how does that work? Do you have is it with the band live? Is it just the four of you then, or do you use backing tracks, or you use a rhythm
Yeah.
guitar?
Yeah. No, now we're a four-piece nowadays, and we have keyboards on the track. Uh, and yeah. So, but it's for some reason that has become such a thing now. It's like you're fake if you're using backing tracks, and I mean, people have
Yeah.
been
What is
doing
your
that people have been doing that for decades.
That's what I find it so interesting just with the advent of like podcasts and social media and the internet. There's so much information, and I feel like the curtain is being pulled back on not just music, but so many things. And you're seeing how the sausage is made. Do you think that hurts in terms of music though? Do you think it hurts music? People seeing how some of these things are made, how there's backing tracks and people wearing wigs and stuff. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes on that people don't know about that now they're finding out. Do you think it ruins some of the magic?
For fans,
Yeah,
or for
for
I don't
fans.
know. For fans, I don't know. I don't think so, man. I really don't know, because what it creates is like it just creates like polarized opinions. Basically, there's people that don't care as much, and then there's people that think it's the worst thing ever, and oh my
Right.
god, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it hurts anybody's business, or if it hurts if anybody's selling less tickets or albums because of that. But I mean, come on. It's been going on, especially in the pop world, since forever.
Right. But like if I go to see a Firewind show and you're doing a lead, that's you playing the lead. It might just
Yeah, I mean,
back the
in our
keyboard.
case, even if the playback machine stops, I mean, we can still finish through the set and everything. Like we just have just a tiny bit of backing tracks, backing vocals, on some choruses, and I do also live backing vocals. And just like wherever there's like some keyboards, like chords and stuff in the background, that's all we have, and all the rest is live.
Yeah.
We're pretty like a basic kind of like old school four-piece, like the blueprint of a hard rock band. Bass, drums, vocals, and guitars. So that's what it is.
Yeah. I've
and
never
we and we
seen
sound and we sound a lot more raw live
Okay. Yeah, I
So
was going to ask you about that because I've never seen you live, but it's cool. I saw that you guys will be touring the US and you have like a show at the Whiskey. I'm in Arizona, so I don't think you're hitting Phoenix. Well, you're not going to be
no, we're
adding
not.
dates, are you?
We're not because I mean we are. I wanted to add an Arizona date, but there was no time. It was like a long drive, so we're just passing through and we're going straight to California. Hopefully, we'll hit Arizona next time. But yeah, we are coming back for like this is gonna be our first headline tour in 13 years or 12 years or something in America.
Yeah. Is that,
Yeah.
you talked about the business side of it. Like, is that stressful trying to make all the numbers add up? Because I know, like, even Anthrax, which is like one, top four biggest thrash bands of all time, they had to cancel a tour because they were like, It's not going to work out financially."
Yeah. Logistically, it's. I mean, especially for a European band coming over to America, it's insane. Like visa costs and flights now going up, and of course, then you have like your daily expenses. Like tour buses are way more expensive than they used to be. Like everything is more expensive. So like doing a small club tour like we are, yeah, it's just tough.
Would it be better to get on as like a package deal, like with your buddy? Well, I guess he's not in Megadeth anymore, but like if you got on with Megadeth or sort of, like three or four different bands, then you can kind of play bigger venues and kind of have a bigger audience.
Oh yeah. We looked for that. I mean, 2 years ago we were there with Dragon Force, and that was like a bigger thing. And so of course it's we want to get on bigger packages, but sometimes like this time I think for this specific timing that we wanted to come out when the album comes out, it didn't work out. We didn't get the package that we were hoping we would on a package that we wanted to get, and we decided to just do a few headline shows. um yeah and but yeah, I mean, of course we should we definitely want to come back and be part of other package tours as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So will you be selling? Because I know the new album comes out. I saw, like it's really cool. The packages, you like the different things. You obviously people can get it digital, but there's like vinyl and stuff too with the splash. And I think this is like, is
Yeah.
this like a patch, like a little cat patch, the Firewind?
Yeah, it's a cat patch. Yeah. It's my cat. I have 4 cats, and that's one of them. My ginger cat, Leon. And my product manager at the label thought it would be a great idea to make him some kind of a comic figure and and make a patch out of him. And I said, yeah, why not?
Yeah, I
It's
feel like you got to
of
do that
course
kind of stuff now.
opens
Like,
up all the.
what's that?
No, go ahead. No, go
I was
ahead.
just
Go
gonna
ahead.
say, like, you have to you have to sell some kind of merch or almost have like kind of some sort of gimmick or like cool things like a patch or something because people don't want to just buy like the CD because they could listen to it on Spotify. But if you have some sort of cool vinyl with a patch and like, then you have stuff that I think the diehard fans will be really interested in.
Oh yeah, I mean, like the physical product now is like a collectible. It's not like it used to be
Yeah.
where you were looking how many actual records you could sell. That's gone now.
Right.
It's all about the pre-orders now and getting, selling the cool bundles that are limited for your diehard fans. And then of course people that come to the shows, actually a lot of people buy because now CDs and vinyl are part of the merch. So they're like another merch item, just
Yeah.
like as much as a t-shirt or something.
And then do you guys do
Yeah.
the meet and greets too?
Whenever we can, yeah, like we'll be doing them on this upcoming tour in the States. Yeah.
Yeah. You did a tour in Europe with Marty Friedman. That's kind of a cool. Would you ever tour with him again? And what also was it? I think it was Uli John Roth too, right?
Yes, I've toured them when because I also have my solo band. I also do solo tours.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I've known Marty for a long time. I've known him since actually I've known him for 20 years. I met him in 2004 when Firewind played Japan, and he had just moved out there because he lives in Japan. And I I uh, I sent out an invitation to him through my record label, and they asked him, and he came down to the show, and we met, and we've been buddies ever since. Um, and yeah, when I did my first solo record, we did a tour together in Europe, and I mean, I would love to do something with Marty again. Funny you should mention. Actually, through that tour, our drummer Joe, he also got to play with Marty because we had the same backing band. We're sharing the backing band, and our drummer Joe also plays for Marty. He's not like the main drummer, but like he will do the occasional show with him.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Yeah. I saw also I think I saw you talking to Joe Satriani. And I mean, you guys had an awesome talk about guitars and stuff. People are really technical. They should check that interview out. But he was saying how I was like, yeah, the next time we do a G3, I'll have to have you on. And then I saw there's a G3 coming up in 2024.
And I was not on.
Yeah, what the hell? Did you call him
I
up?
don't know.
Are you gonna at least can
No.
you like play like in a city or two or something? Come up as a special guest?
But I think, like, I mean, I didn't reach out, first of all, because I'm in Greece and I'm not in America, and they're touring America. So, I mean, had I been in the States, I definitely would have hit him up to go and see and say hello. I don't know about if he would have invited me for a jam, but I would have definitely gone to a show. And G3 is something I always wanted to see, and I never got to see it.
I haven't seen it either. It sounds amazing though.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen Joe live a couple of times, but never like with the G3. And this was like the original formation, like with Vi and Eric Johnson.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, I mean, who knows, man? But yeah, he had a lot of cool guests up there. I was just actually right before we got on the call. I was reading some of the news about that, like how many guitar players they invited and stuff, and that was really nice.
What is it like to play? Because you're such an amazing guitar player, obviously, but then you play with Zakk Wylde and Slash. Didn't you guys play all three of you on stage? How does that work?
Yes.
You have three amazing guitar. You just take turns. Like, do you try to one up each other a little bit, or is it just like, are you just in awe of everyone?
I mean, come on. A guy like me could not one up Zakk Wylde or Slash. Come on, like that would be like stupid on all levels. But no, the thing is, that tour that was called Ozzy and Friends, and it was back in 2012. And I'm gonna go way a little bit back when we started saying about the tours, and the solo tour got cut short, and then he went back to Sabbath for the
Right.
final reunion. But then it was when Tony Iommi had cancer. So the first Sabbath tour, the first leg of the Sabbath tour got postponed because Tony Iommi had cancer, and Ozzy replaced it with his solo tour, and it was called Ozzy and Friends. And the guests, like the friends, were Zakk Wylde, Slash, Geezer Butler, and he had his regular backing band, which was us, me and Blasco and Tommy and Adam. And I mean, come on, that was incredible. We got to tour for 2 months, and yeah, like for me, being a guitar player, being on stage with those guys every night, that was insane.
Yeah, I feel like, but like Slash, you guys all have your different, things that you're really good at. I feel like Slash is so good at feel. Zakk Wylde just has such a cool sound. I feel like you would be the fastest though. I feel like you could like go faster than they could play. Am I right on that?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, they can both play pretty fast.
Yeah.
And they're just such identifiable guitar players. They're so unique. So it's intimidating, man, just standing on stage with those guys. But they're also the nicest guys, and they just made me feel so like they relaxed and about the whole thing.
Yeah, didn't you say
Yeah,
they both have really like high work ethics too, which is surprising because you'd think at that level they would kind of like be able to be like, okay, I can kind of relax a little, but they're like still just like working really super hard.
yes, exactly. And that was so inspiring to see, just like Slash was like everywhere. He was doing his solo tour, and then he would fly somewhere to do like press in some other country, and then he would just fly the next morning and meet us in the hotel, and then that night he would be on stage with us and then leave right after. And I'm like, oh my God, like this guy's like he doesn't stop. Like he's unstoppable. And same for Zakk. Zakk rolled from one tour to to the next one. He does so many projects now with Pantera or his Sabbath tribute thing, and yeah. So I mean, I'm always looking up to guys like that because I grew up with them. They're my heroes, and of course, like to get an insight of how these guys actually do it. Being on a tour with them and see how they do things. It's inspiring.
Absolutely. And I'm not even a musician, and I find it inspiring just to see people who are at the top of their game and how they do it, like how their mind works and their work ethic. All that stuff is so interesting to me.
Yeah, man. I mean, just being a fly on the wall in these situations is just, uh, it's priceless.
Yeah. So what do you think about now? How does this work? Because Ozzy is potentially going to be in the rock and roll, or he is inducted as a solo artist in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Does that mean you're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Because you were his guitar player
They,
for like 8 years.
I don't know. I think it's about him as a solo artist, not about the band members. So,
Oh, you
but
have to get on your
that's a
own.
nice. That's a nice way to look at it.
Yeah. No, I think so. I think that would, I mean, I would assume
But
some of the solo band, you think like Zakk Wylde would get it. I don't know if that, how that works, but maybe it's literally just him. Like,
I I don't even know. But you know what? All kidding aside, I think it's long overdue. Like, I mean, I know he's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with Sabbath. I don't know why it took them so long to have him in there as a solo artist. So he should have had that like years and years ago. But
yeah, there's,
it's great that he's nominated now. But I think it's like a fan vote thing, right? So
oh, yeah. I mean, it's like Motley Crue isn't in it. I'm like, how is like, they're got to be one of the most famous. I mean, if it's a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, aren't they one of the most famous bands like ever? I
yeah,
don't,
and most influential. And I was looking at the list this year. Who else was on there? And it was Peter Frampton. And Peter Frampton is not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame either. I'm like, wow.
isn't that the guy that influenced you to pick up a guitar?
Yes, exactly.
The talk
Yeah,
box and stuff?
yeah, yeah. I picked up the guitar because of Peter Frampton. Yeah.
Yeah. That's yeah. So that is really shocking. I feel like he influenced a lot of guitar players. So yeah, that stuff is very interesting. I don't know how they pick that. I mean, I feel like it's never enough rock bands, but you
Yeah.
know,
Well, better late than never. I hope Ozzy gets it.
yeah, absolutely. Well, another cool guitar player that I thought this was really cool that you went and visited Jason Becker in 2002. Like, there's a video of it. It's like got like 400,000 views. He gave you a jacket. Like, is that something that you reached out to him or did he reach out to you?
I've known Jason and his family for a few years. I played on one of the benefit shows back in 2013. It was in a venue called Slim's in San Francisco. I heard that venue's not there anymore though. But yeah, that's where I got to meet him, and I've always been a big fan. Both of him and both of his and Marty Friedman. When they were in Cacophony and their solo records, of course. And then we've kept in touch all these years a little bit. And whenever I'm like in the San Francisco area, I try to reach out and stuff. And that was like 2 years ago. We were, like I said before, we were on tour with Dragon Force, and the last show was in Berkeley. And one of Jason's buddies picked me up from the venue, and we went up to his house. And I was a little bit scared, to be honest, because it was still like the pandemic was winding down, so we were wearing all masks and stuff. And of course, none of us was sick, but you never know. You don't want to
Right.
bring any. You don't want to bring the flu there. So
Definitely. Yeah. He'd be
um,
at risk for sure.
yeah. So, anyways, but he was so cool. I got to see. I've been to his house once before, about 6-7 years ago, but that was my second time. And yeah, he let me borrow his jacket that he wore on the photo shoot of Cacophony album cover, and I wore it that night on stage. I
Yeah, I
played a couple
saw
of.
that. Oh, so he didn't give it to you though. He just borrowed. You just borrowed.
No, he borrowed it. Of course, I gave it back to him.
That's
Come on, man.
nice.
That's like a proper rock and roll memorabilia. I would never
That's cool.
have from
And then
Jason. Yeah.
yeah, tell me about hanging out with comedian Jim Breuer because I think he is so brilliant. He's so funny and he does such amazing impressions, especially his Brian Johnson. Like he can sing like Brian Johnson from AC/DC. It's amazing. Like
Yeah. He's a good singer, and
yeah,
I man, I really don't even remember what year it was. I got to hang out with him a couple of
2016.
times. 2016 it was.
Yeah, I think so.
And at the time, sorry, yeah. At the time, I don't know what it was, but we had the same publicist, and I think Jim was looking to put a band together or somebody to make a metal record or something. And I think we met up. Did he have a podcast? I don't even remember what it was, but we got to hang out, and the guy
Yeah,
is
I think you did an
hilarious.
episode of his podcast, and it was hard
Yeah.
to listen to because I couldn't see, and I was just listening, and there was like multiple people talking, but I was like, oh, that must have been fun for you though to be there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And he's the biggest metal fan.
That's super. I'd love to get him on the show. Well, very cool. Well, I know you got another one coming up here, so I'll let you get to the next one. But people can check out the new album Stand United. It's out. The full album is out March 1st. But they can download some of the, or they can stream some of the songs on Spotify now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. We've released 4 or 5 singles already. Like half the album is out.
Yeah. And then of course, people can. I'll put the website in the show notes, and people can check that out for tour dates because you're touring Europe, you're touring in Japan and the United States, even. So lots of great shows coming up.
It's a proper world tour. Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Well, I wish you the best of luck. Anything else we need to promote? Is that it?
No, thank you. Thank you, man. Thanks for the opportunity. Good to talk to you, and hopefully see everybody out there when we're over in the States in April and May.
Sounds good. Yeah, if I can try to make one of those shows, drive to California or something, I'll see what I can do.
Just let me know, man. Yeah, you'll be our guest. We'd love to see you.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Gus.
Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye. Thank you for taking the time to listen to the full podcast episode. Please help support our guests by following them on social media and purchasing their products, whether it be a book, album, film, or other thing. And if you have a few extra dollars, please consider donating it to their favorite charity. If you want to support the show, you can like, share, and comment on this episode on social media and YouTube. And if you want to go the extra mile, you can give us a rating or review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google Podcasts. Finally, make sure you're subscribed to the show on YouTube for the video versions and other exclusive content. We appreciate your support. Have a great rest of your day and shoot for the moon.